Background character. Okay, next.
Just say background character.
Okay, we like to say NPC.
I play video games too every once in a while. I'll say, no, there's an NPC right back there.
Sorry, guys, that's that 2-year age gap.
And we're gonna get a divorce after this.
Honey!
My haunted divorce. Our haunted divorce.
Honey! I am gonna haunt your ass too, bitch. Alright, you ready?
I'm ready.
First ever podcast?
Can you believe it?
No, I can't. That's exciting.
So, we're starting a new podcast.
We're so good at this. It's like we've never done any video or anything before, right?
I know. Okay, so
this is a lot different though than YouTube.
It is. It feels so like, I don't know. It's like feels like a natural pivot to doing a podcast, but it also feels like unnatural because like it's completely different.
Actually, we should do introductions real quick because what if these are some new people too?
Oh, well,
right?
I'm Jonathan.
You're Jonathan.
I'm Jonathan.
I'm Aaron, and we've been married for about what, 15, 16?
10 years.
Okay, 10 years, but we've been together like 16 or 17 years.
17 years this January. Can you believe it?
Crazy.
So we've been together for a very long time, and we started our YouTube channel. Well, first off, I'm a writer. Aaron's an artist, and we about 7 years ago we decided that we wanted to start a YouTube channel, and so we kind of became influencers. And
before that was even a word.
I guess
it wasn't a word. No, it was like we were gonna put up videos basically about just random stuff we were doing just for fun, right? And it was also to, because we wanted to be in the entertainment industry with our writing.
Let's be honest. We wanted to promote our books, right? We wanted to sell books, okay?
Yes.
We wanted to sell my books. We wanted to sell your comic books, and we didn't know how to do it besides. Well, first we started a blog, and that was fun. But that's actually where the name Husband came from.
Yeah,
it was the original blog.
Yeah, if you follow any of our comics or any of our writing, then you'll notice that we have a certain theme most of the time. It's very dark, it's very mysterious, but it's also like a bit of comedy as well, though.
Yeah,
so
people call us like. I remember it's like a PG horror. Is how we write, or it's like a scary Disney movie.
It's like Goosebumps.
Yeah, kind of like Goosebumps. Or really like Scooby Doo.
It is Scooby Doo. We're Scooby Doo, but gay.
Yeah, but gay. Yeah. Exactly. So, anyways, we started our YouTube channel. Cut to 7 years later, it's kind of like, what can we do next? Because like the vlogs we will always do the vlogs, but
you know what? Call it what you wanted, okay? If you want to call it a midlife crisis, go ahead. We're in our 30s now, okay? Go for it.
You know what it is? We're getting older, so we can't do those clickbaits anymore.
Honey, I don't know anything about what you're talking about.
I don't remember the last time you hit the gym. Those midnight snacks that
speaking of,
honey, no, not yet. It's not time.
Can you guys hear that sound? If you can't see this, if you're not watching it on our YouTube channel, husband, then this sound right here is the sound of candy because it's almost Halloween time. Listen to that, AS.
So anyways, we really thought about like what kind of like we thought about like doing like a sit down kind of a thing, like a podcast basically, and we were like, should we just do like a bunch of different random things, right? And then we're like, no, we really want to kind of pigeonhole ourselves with a certain topic. And we're like, what is a topic that we're both interested in that we can talk about, we can do endless videos for? So we birthed,
without further ado,
introducing our haunted we always want to say my haunted honeymoon, but it's our haunted honeymoon.
It is ours because we do everything together. We're that pathetic couple that really has everything to do with each other.
We're needy.
We are needy. We haven't spent a day preface. We haven't spent like 24 hours apart before. We've never spent like a night apart besides like
it's really
one
bad.
time.
It's like it's codependent. We're codependent. We're needy. We're like all the things that the therapist would tell you don't be.
Well, no, there's different relationships. Some people want to be apart from their spouse for like 2 weeks and fly to London, but like I think I wouldn't survive without you.
That just rolled off your tongue though. You have any 2-week plans for London?
I would have done it already in the last. Seriously, I would have done it.
Anyways, so we started this podcast, and it's called it's called Our Haunted Honeymoon, and we're gonna talk about the paranormal. We're gonna talk about scary stories. We're gonna talk about real life scary stories, scary movies. We're gonna talk about mysteries, the unknown, a whole bunch of different things. We like the topics can range for so many different crazy, weird things, and we're excited.
The mystery, the macabre, and the sometimes messy is what we're aiming for.
Ooh, that was good. So you guys, I was on the phone with him on the way to work, and he was just like, so we're going to talk about the mystery, the macabre, and I need one more M. We need one more M. And I'm just sitting there like thinking like, what else M words, what M word goes with that? And we were like debating it for 15 minutes, and we stopped talking about it, and I forgot about it. And now he just threw out messy, so.
Well, is there another word to describe us? Besides the mysterious, the macabre, and the messy. That could have been the other. Macabre. Macabre!
Oh, with like a B at the end?
Yeah. The other one's like macabre!
So anyways, we started this channel, and we hope you guys enjoy it. We're going to see if it's going to be a limited series run, or if it's something we're going to stick to it. But it's called Our Haunted Honeymoon, and we're excited. We have our first episode planned. And
we really have our first season planned, to be honest. We have like 10 episodes in the bag right now that we're ready to go. And the first one we thought would be the best one to start with would be introductions. And the whole reason why it's called Our Haunted Honeymoon is because shortly after our honeymoon, we had our own haunted experience. And we've always been into that sort of stuff, like the darkness and mysteriousness. And we've always had like an open mind, I would say, to that kind of stuff. Like,
we have. And I feel like we've always been like, we have so many stories about this subject because...
Unwillingly,
because I think Aaron and I have such an open mind that paranormal things happen to us a lot. Like... more than usual, I would say.
Yeah.
Right? So, anyways, let's dive into it.
Yeah.
So, it was a dark and stormy night.
Yes.
It wasn't a dark or stormy night.
No, we live in California, let's be real. It was a sunny, 70-degree weather, perfect day 5 years, 6 years, 7 years ago.
So, we were living in LA. We moved out there because Aaron got a new job working for a comic book publishing house, and like he got the job, he got an internship, and it was 6 months internship, no paid, and I was working an hour away, and we basically had to get the like an apartment that really wasn't expensive, is a nice word to put it. But anyways, so we're there, and like we were paying, I think it was $850 rent.
God, what I would kill to pay that. I would kill someone to pay that right now. But I mean,
we struggled to pay that rent.
Like, shut up. Okay, well, it was a different time. Not to age ourselves, but that was like a long time ago. What, 10 years ago now? Let's move on.
Yeah. But anyway, so we got this apartment, and we didn't know enough about LA, even though it was like it was an hour away. We grew up in Orange County area, Long Beach. Before Orange County became Orange County, and you have to be rich to live there, or a celebrity or something. But anyways, Aaron, so we moved to Los Angeles, and we got this apartment, and it was super cheap. And within like a couple months, the whole building was infested with bed bugs.
Great memory unlocked.
It was pretty bad. Like, people talk about bed bugs, but like when you experience it, it's like going through a fire. Because like it's like your house burnt down. Sorry, I was knocking on wood for those of you who can't see us. But yeah, so it's like going through a fire because all your furniture, you have to throw away everything. Your house is getting disinfected. Everything that you want to keep, you're basically putting in a storage unit, and you're bombing it for like 6 months every month.
It was a really sucky situation too, because like everyone there was, trying to make it, make it in that town and live their dream. I mean, we were literally like, feet apart from the next building over. You can hear just that same song. I know what song you're talking about.
Yeah.
Pave the streets with gold.
This person was trying to make it as like some kind of like a singer, I guess. But
they might be though. Oh my God.
They might be, but I remember her song. She was editing it. She was working on it for months, and you just hear it, and it was like, I just remember not the tune. What did you call it?
Chorus.
The chorus. It was like, we're gonna pave the streets with go, go.
And you know what? She did pave those streets with gold.
I remember thinking that was such a catchy I was like bobbing. Like
she gonna make it one day.
She
gonna make it one day.
We're gonna pave the streets with gold, gold, gold. It was good. I actually really liked it. I remember one time someone was being so nasty across. This is such a side story, you guys, but like one of the neighbors were like pissed off about hearing it, and she was like, "Your song sucks," and I was like, "That was so effed up,
stupid."
Because think about it, that's your dream.
Exactly. Like, have a little empathy. Like, that's dumb. I would hate that. That's so messed up. I would never.
And I liked it. I should have screamed back, "I like it!"
Yeah, I mean, the hero.
I didn't, because I was like a nervous little
twit.
Timid. I don't know.
Yeah. So yeah, we moved in. No, that was the whole point though. They preyed on those types of people that have nowhere else to go. I mean, that was the cheapest studio apartment. It was a studio apartment too.
Do you remember too? They made us sign a bedbug addendum when we moved in.
But you just sign your life away basically because you just want to get in, and it's you know what I mean. It's the only place you could afford.
And it's after you do the
inspection,
or the background checks and stuff. And like it was like background checks were like $35 each, which like now doesn't seem like a lot of money, but back then it was like, okay, I won't eat tomorrow.
Yeah, we'll skip Chipotle tomorrow. But all the signs were there, to your point, like all the signs were there, but later on, because you don't think in the moment, like you're young, we were super young back then too, and you don't think because you're like, this is a great opportunity, and they take advantage of that because we didn't think down the road about all those things because all the warning signs were there. When we were fast forwarding to moving out from there was the trash bags. If you do the Google research, there's people had their trash bags out in the hallway because you have to pack everything up and keep it insulated so you and put it in storage so you can kill those fuckers.
Yeah, no. Do you remember when we were moving in? I remember there was it was a gay couple too, just like us. It was like they were getting switched out, and they came and they had garbage bags full of stuff. And I remember looking at them, thinking that looked weird. And I remember one of them looked at me. And it was like he had a story.
And they should have told us.
They wanted to. I know they wanted to.
They should have told us to turn back and run our ass back to Long Beach. Damn it.
I should have listened.
Those bitches.
Right.
But anyway, so the bedbug thing was a nightmare and a horror story, American Horror Story, all on its own because there was one time I remember we were staying up because they're really bad, you guys. Remember getting into our flesh and they suck your blood. Like we had to research how to get away from them and we had nowhere to go. So we were literally laying on a coffee table at 3 a.m. in the morning just to get some sleep to go to work in the morning because that was the only spot they couldn't crawl up to get to us.
Yeah, it was really bad because it's not like you would be there in the middle of the day and you would see the bed bugs. It would be like they would come out at night and it's like they were coming from other apartments. And I remember we were getting bitten alive and I remember sleeping on a coffee table.
I remember that very fondly, but that's a growth experience, right?
Right. So anyways, we were like, nope, not doing it. Break the lease. We're done. And so we broke the lease and it was it was going on throughout the entire apartment complex. So I basically, even though we signed a bedbug addendum, then it was a new manager and she was just like, whoever needs to go, needs to go. We get it. Yeah. And so we moved in with your mom. And we were living with your mom and we were only supposed to live there for a couple months because also, you guys, at this time we were engaged. We were planning a wedding. And so it was a couple months living with your mom, cut to us going to the wedding, going on our honeymoon to London, coming back and being like, okay, we need to find our own place. Which is kind of crazy that we called this My Haunted Honeymoon because we literally are starting the first episode right after our actual honeymoon.
I know, and then our first experience happened shortly after. This is why it's so perfect because ever since then we've been haunted with all these different stories that happen to us.
We were haunted before.
But I mean, there's so many more after that we were haunted. Like, do you remember? Oh, yeah. Well, we'll get to that later. Those are other stories, you guys. You're so excited. I know you're excited.
So I remember, Aaron's mom lives, 45 minutes away from where Aaron was working. And I was, we were sharing a car. We were doing this commute. I was dropping him off, coming him up. And I was, basically, looking up places to live in LA because we knew we needed to move back. And I remember I found a place, and it was called The Langham.
Da, da, da.
And the rent back then for a studio apartment was $950. and it was all paid utilities.
That's a steal. It was a nice. Okay, let's just take a moment to appreciate the Langham for a second. To this day, and I don't know if it's because we have like some sort of weird connection with it, or this is one of the places we lived for the longest, because, you know, like being young creatives, we moved around so much, like basically every year. That's another story. But I have so much, like, that's one of my top favorite places we've ever lived.
Yeah, me too. Like, definitely. Yeah. And it was the only place we ever lived that long. Like, I think we lived there for 5 years, and like, even though we've been together for 17 years, saying a lot about how many times we moved, but like 5 years was like, it had a mark. Like, it left a mark. Like, we were there for a while. That's
where our whole vlog started, our business started, our comics started, our careers started. This is where everything like happened, and it was a really, really cool apartment. If you can look it up online now. It's called the Langham, and the history of it used to be an old Hollywood hotel, and it was the first hotel to ever have a rooftop pool.
I think in America.
In America. Wow.
In America, I think that's what the first rooftop pool in America.
Damn, and like all the starlets would get ready because it's in Hollywood.
In 1920s.
In 1920s, so all the starlets would get ready and everything. It was a big deal. It was a pretty cool place.
It was really cool. It was like, I remember finding it, and it was hard to be able for me and Aaron to look at the place look at the model, or actually the place, the apartment we were going to live in together. So he was like, go ahead, you do it. I trust you. And I remember walking in, and they showed me the apartment, and it seemed a little smaller, but I thought it was because of the furniture. Do you remember this story?
Yeah, kind of.
But I remember Aaron was like, go ahead, sign the lease. Because I was like, what I liked about it was like, there was a doorman. The apartment complex was really big. And it was built in the 1920s. And they kept that feel. Like, you walk in and there's like a lobby. There's even like the check-in place for when you're checking in. Back then it was a hotel. So they had that. They kept that. They had this long dining room table. They had like this gorgeous fireplace, everything, even the furniture, they preserved it to look like the 1920s.
What about the grand piano that we would hear sometimes at night, and no one was there, side note? It was so cool. There's
so many creepy stories that happened there.
Yeah.
But, so Erin, I remember the night we were moving in, and I remember my mom was kind of helping us. She was standing in the car. She was basically in the car guarding the U-Haul that was open. But I remember the moment you saw the apartment. You walked in and you were like your jaw dropped. Like, are you for real? This is so small.
And you know the funny thing is though, because like I'm not even a size queen in that way, in that or that way or any other way.
You're that way.
No, I'm not. I mean, never mind. Let's not get ourselves in trouble. Yeah, we're in a gay area right now. Not exclusively gay, but we're in the gay area. So no, I'm not though. Like, I grew up in a freaking apartment all the time. I never had my own room. I shared a tinier place than that with my brother until I was 18, until we moved out together. So I mean, I don't know why. I think I was just like, we were probably on that where we're like, no, we need a next thing. We need to move up now. Finally, it's been years. We've been like out on our own, living in studios forever. So that might have been it.
Maybe. Like, I mean, I remember feeling the same way, but I was like, we can make it work.
Yeah. And it's funny because it's usually the opposite way around. Like now it's like I look back and I'm like, yeah, like we're fine. So fast forward, we're in love with this place, and it's really awesome. It's really vintage and old school. Even the elevators are old school. It's like, it's not quite old to where it's like the Titanic one where you have to shut the gate and everything, but the next step up, right?
Yeah.
They even had a cool mail slot where you can go to the top floor and drop mail, and there was a whole like mail catcher.
I forgot about that.
I know, that's other creepy stuff happened there.
Even like, okay, so like the whole basement was like a room full. It was like a kind of like a mouse maze thingy, because there was like so many different nooks and crannies, and there was a bathroom, there was private bathrooms, there was the room that was now the gym was actually a barbershop, and then where the laundry room was actually a cafe. Gosh. And like it was a 1920s hotel that they preserved in the best possible way they could, but it was an apartment complex now. Yeah,
the rooftop, they even filmed. They do a lot of filming still, and they pay to have filming there because there's this suite upstairs that is used for like scary movies. We'll get into that later and everything, but Ronald Reagan stayed there, I think, like when it was back when it was a hotel, like on the top. It was insane.
Actually, Ellen DeGeneres lived. I think she rented the 5th floor, and we rented the 4th floor.
Yeah.
Not at the same time, of course. It was like decades apart. But she actually, because they filmed Annabelle 2 there.
Yeah.
And she actually said on her talk show that they filmed Annabelle 2 at her old apartment complex that she used to live in.
Crazy. So there's so much history. That building is super old. So of course it's gonna have history. It's gonna have ghosts, and this is where our story really begins.
But like real quick, like this is how it started. Like I remember the first ghost-y story that happened there. We were moved it was the day we moved in, and we were moving in until like I think it was something crazy like 2:00 in the morning, and I remember it was the last load. I remember we filled up the elevator and it's closing. Do you remember this story?
Yeah. It just came to me.
And the elevator is about to close, and all we hear is hold the elevator. So we hold this elevator, and this woman steps in. And she looks straight out of the 1920s. She's wearing a flapper dress. She has a boa wrapped around her neck. And like straight up. And we're riding up the elevator, and she's like talking. She sees our stuff, and she's like, oh, you're moving in, and we're like talking to her, like, yeah. And she's like, kind of talking about the building a little bit. And I remember we stop at her floor. Elevator doors open. She takes a step out, looks over her shoulder, or flips her boa over her shoulder, and then looks over her shoulder and says, welcome to the Langham. And then she turns in the corner and is gone.
God. So crazy. Never see her again.
Never saw this woman ever again in 5 years.
Nope. Wish I could say that about a lot of other people in my life, but
there's actually a connection to the story on another story, but we won't go into there.
Yeah. So let's get into the real story that we're talking about then. Finally, right?
Okay, let's do it.
So
the year was 1980.
Hey, we're not that old, John. Why are you doing this right now? Why?
Sorry.
How you do this to us? I'm only 30 years old. 31 years old.
The lie detector detected that was a lie.
Maury! All right, so where do we even begin with this?
It was your birthday. It was the day before your actual birthday.
My 32nd birthday. Yes.
Actually, you were younger than that.
Okay, fine. Yes, it was like my 20-something. I was like 25.
I think you're... No,
26.
Don't go crazy. I think you're like 28.
Shut up. 27.
So anyways, we all went out partying in West Hollywood because we're gay. And for Aaron's birthday, we're partying it up, having a good time, and there's a bunch of us, but like no one like sleeps over. Aaron and I go home, crash, right? It's a Friday night. Now, the next day was, I think it was a Saturday, and Aaron goes, or we wake up early because we parked on a meter. This is LA problems, city people problems. We parked at a meter. We didn't have parking. So we had to move it before 8 o'clock in the morning. Mm-hmm. And our friend was seeing a guy. It was a booty call.
Oh, it was a total booty call. She wasn't seeing a guy, which is whatever.
But he lived down the street from us.
Yeah.
And so she parks next to us in the meter. So we called her up and we're like, hey, you got to move your car. And she's like, okay, I'll meet you there.
Yeah.
So 8 o'clock in the morning-ish on a Saturday in LA. No one's around, right? Mm-hmm. So we move our cars. 3 of us meet up and we're just kind of chatting. So anyways, we're chatting about like the whole night because there's like a lot of events happen. I got kicked out of the bar. It's fine. It's another story. So we're walking through the lobby. Remember, you guys have that 1920s hotel feel, right? So we're walking there. It's deserted, right? And we're walking through the lobby, and I just remember from around the corner where the mailbox lot was this guy. And I remember seeing him in the corner of my eye.
It's like one of those things where you okay, think about this, you guys. You don't ever like pay attention to NPCs. Like he was an NPC.
What's that?
It's not an MP3. NPC, a non-player character in video game terms, honey. You know, a non-player character, when it's the person like in Zelda where it's like it was the banker or something.
So like a background character.
Background character. Okay, next.
Just say background character.
Okay, we like to say NPC. Nowadays.
I play video games too every once in a while. I'll say, no, there's an NPC right back there.
Sorry, guys, that's that 2-year age gap thing.
Go ahead.
Obviously, I'm the baby of the group. Not.
And we're gonna get a divorce after this.
Honey!
Our haunted divorce.
Honey! I am gonna haunt your ass too, bitch. You know how crazy I am. You know how motherfucking crazy I am. Wait, what was I saying now?
You're talking about the background characters.
Oh, NPCs. No, the NPCs. I was talking about the NPCs. Yeah. So he was an NPC. You don't like acknowledge people really most of the time. Like you don't look at every single person in your life and be like, I see their face. Yeah. He was that far enough in front of us to where we weren't paying attention. And we were a good, 10, 20 feet from him. Yeah, we weren't that far back.
Probably the length of your average living room.
Okay.
Maybe a little bit more than that.
Okay. Not Ellen's living room, because that's probably football fields.
Oh, yeah, for
long,
sure.
Right? Maybe more
a normal person. Like a 1,500 square foot house living room.
Okay, that's oddly specific. So he's walking in front of us, and the three of us are trailing behind, just chatting because we're not paying attention. We're a little hungover. Yeah. We're just, whatever.
Oh, we're definitely hungover.
A little hungover. So
I got kicked out.
We're behind him, and we're walking straight behind him, and this next part totally rocked our world.
So anyways, I remember exactly what he was wearing. He was wearing jeans and a white shirt, and he was bald. Mm-hmm. And I remember the elevator doors open. There's two elevators that were side by side. Elevator doors open. He steps inside, and it's kind of like that awkward distance where you don't know if you hold the elevator for someone because they're right behind you, but not right behind you. But he didn't hold the elevator. And I remember going for the button, and in the corner of my eye again, I saw him in the elevator, and he let's go back. If you guys stand in an elevator, go in an elevator, what do you do automatically? You turn and face the door, right?
Yeah, I do that.
But he was facing the wall, looking up. So all I saw was the back of his head.
So awkward. Yeah.
It was really weird.
Yeah.
And the door was closing, and I remember you pushed the button, actually.
I did.
And it was about this close, about a couple inches away from closing. You pushed the button, and it opened up. And I remember I was the first one that walked in, and you and our friend Sam walked in after. And the dude was not in the elevator. And I remember
it was a sequence of events, very specific, because we all did something that led up to it. You made way for the inside of the elevator. I stopped. I pressed the button and opened my mouth to say something, and she actually said something.
Sam said, sorry for... And so she was about to apologize to the guy for holding the elevator. So she said, I'm sorry that we... And then stopped mid-sentence, and then I remember her saying, holy fuck. And I remember specifically, because I was in the front of you guys, so I didn't see your guys' expressions, but I could hear your voices. And I remember your gasp.
Uh-huh.
I remember you were just holy fuck. That was your gasp. Oh my God.
It's one of those moments where, I don't know if you guys have ever experienced this, but your whole sense of reality just shatters. That was the moment that totally changed my life forever. I didn't know, right? I didn't know whether to separate this for that, because there's
that, or the third?
This, that, or the third. Because here's the thing. There was three of us. Speaking of the third, 333. There's three of us. And you can kind of ignore these things when they happen just to you. You can be like, oh, my mind's playing tricks on me, I'm a crazy lunatic or something. Or even if you can probably even do it when you're with someone, if me and you were together, because we do everything together, so we could just be like, oh, we're just crazy, that kind of thing. But the fact that there was a third party, the fact that there was another person there to validate it and to just be like, did we just lose our minds, or was there someone really there?
And I remember the moment we saw it. And I remember my mind was going so fast, it was trying to rationalize it. So I remember, because like I said, there's two elevators side by side. So I was my mind he went into the other elevator. That's what it was. And my mind just played tricks on me.
Yeah.
So I jumped out of the elevator, and I went right up to the elevator to see where it was. And it was stopped on the 4th floor. Oh my God. I knew it wasn't that. And then all I hear is Sam scream, that was a ghost! That was a fucking ghost!
Yeah,
and then at that moment when she belches that, we all just bolted. Like we went. There's like 4 different staircases. I think 3.
Yeah.
But because the hotel / apartment complex is shaped like an E. And we were in like the middle line part of the E where the elevators are, and we went all the way over here, ran up 4 flights of stairs, ran to our apartment, locked the doors, and just collapsed, screaming.
Trying to recollect our whole life existence of what that was, right? Like, that was insane. That's the first reaction you do, though. You have to, so in order not to go crazy, like, and end up in a padded cell, you have to, like, your mind always wants to make sense of something, right?
Yeah, for sure.
You always want to be like, no, that's exactly what happened. You know, you put yourself in that. Like, I don't want to admit to myself that I ate all of those chocolates right there, all those Reese's, even though there's like a pile of wrappers right there. I want to be like, no. The dog helped me. The cat helped me. Someone helped me. You know what I mean?
That was oddly specific. Something like that happened? What happened when I was at work?
Anyways.
What did you do?
I don't want to talk about it. So you just want to make sense of everything first, right? But that was so like we couldn't make sense of it.
No,
we knew at that moment that it'd be. No. Let's go back a little bit. The elevator is an old elevator. It's one of those ones where it will not go anywhere unless you press the button for it.
Well, that goes to the next part of the story. But like, you guys, the most crazy part of it was that the dude was solid. Like, when you think of a ghost, you think Casper the freaking Friendly Ghost. You think of a transparent, translucent, like you can see through the ghost. Right? But this dude was solid, which makes me think, like, to this day, I will sometimes, like, it would just cross my mind out of nowhere, and I'll be like, are there just, like, ghosts around and we're just not aware?
That's exactly what it does. It changes your whole world now because you wonder if like that person didn't hold the door for you, if like they're just a ghost repeating some kind of life, and you're like, oh, I don't feel so bad that I always hold the door for someone, but they don't open it for me. They just slam it on my face.
That was oddly specific. You want to talk about it?
I have a lot of feelings about that. That's one of my biggest pet peeves is when someone doesn't hold the door open for you, even though you always politely open it for everyone else. He was solid. He was so solid. And that just changed the whole world of how we see it, because it's like, that could have been that person in front of you down the street that didn't, like, you know, wave or something. And it's like, that could have been a ghost too. You never know.
They didn't wave?
They didn't wave at you. I don't know. Like, you waved at someone.
Did you wave to a ghost?
I don't know, because they didn't wave back. It could have been a ghost. Why was
just waving to a random person?
Because I need friends.
It was a cute guy, huh? It was a cute ghost? Cute gay ghost? Cute hot ghost?
It was a cute... No. Anyways.
Yeah.
So yeah, he was just solid. And it's like, it totally changed our perspective. It's like, oh yeah, why wouldn't they be that? Why would they look like just not, like, see-through and stuff? Why would they look like that? Why wouldn't they look solid, as a matter of fact? You know? Because they're just... Why wouldn't they?
Why wouldn't they look solid?
Yeah, why wouldn't they? It kind of breaks your whole, like, preconceived notion of what... Notion? I don't know what I'm saying. It changes your whole, like, perspective of what they should be. What do you call it? Your whole...
Sense of reality?
Your whole... No, what do you call it when it's, like, your whole, like, what you think of something before
your psyche?
No, your, what is it called, you guys? Like, where you're talking... Just forget it. How embarrassing. I'm so embarrassed. I'm humiliated.
Don't be humiliated.
So...
Find a safe space. No one on the internet ever makes fun of anyone for any mistake. Afterwards, what happened, like... That was Saturday. We always remember that date because it was Aaron. It was actually Aaron's birthday, and we knew it was 8 o'clock in the morning because we had to move the cars by that time because, you know, we didn't want to get a ticket. So cut to that Wednesday. I remember being off. Aaron was at work, and I'm on the phone with our friend JoJo, and I was like, "You won't believe this shit." So I'm telling her this whole story, and as I'm telling her the story, I feel like this prickle in my spine.
Oh.
And I'm telling her about it, and she's like, just get out of the apartment. Just get out. I'm like, no, I'm okay if it's a ghost. Like, I'm here for it, Casper, whatever. Like, you know, I'm not scared. Like,
cute
I'm
ghost.
here to help you.
You know, it could be a cute guy ghost.
Maybe it's the hot ghost. So anyways, I mean, to be honest, that ghost wasn't bad looking. I remember him.
Looking back, he wasn't. No, not at all.
Yeah.
I would have, I mean...
You know, if
I wasn't married...
If I wasn't married...
And if I was dead and
he was living...
or I was dead...
But anyways, so, I'm continuing the story with JoJo on the phone, and then it gets so intense. I remember I was wearing shorts, and the hairs on my leg went up in a wave, and then I felt this prickle in my spine go up to my skull, and it made my brain feel like it was vibrating. It was so intense that I got off the phone with her and jumped out of the apartment. But I locked myself out.
Yeah.
So anyways, I have to go to the management office, and I have to talk to her about getting me a key. So I go down there, and we started talking and chatting, and I was like, hey, can I ask you something weird? And she's like, yeah. And I was like, has anything strange happened to you here? She's like, what do you mean strange? And I was like supernatural. She's like, okay, so a couple things have happened to me, but mainly it's the other tenants who have told me stuff that have happened to them. And I'm like, okay, listen. And so I tell her everything, right? I told her the whole story that we just told you guys. And she looks me straight in the eye, and she said, let's pull it up on the cameras. And I'm like, this girl is giving me the window, right? So I'm like, okay, so I know, like I said, I knew exactly what date and what time it was, so it was so easy to find it on the camera. And you see the three of us walking down the lobby, then you see the elevator doors open, but no one pushes the button. And then the elevator doors close or about to close. We push the button, it comes open, we jump in, we jump out, whatever. The dude wasn't there. The ghost was not there. And the manager tells me, she's like, those elevators are the first that were installed. She said the only way to operate them is if you actually push that button, and no one did.
Oh my god. It was so crazy. Like, we have the video somewhere. I just don't know where it is. It's like in an email or something, but we saved it somewhere along with other ghost videos we have and ghost pictures, because there was another story that's a future episode. It's about Paris and the catacombs. You guys are going to love it too. But anyways, that was insane. The fact that even validated it even further, I don't know. It's kind of one of those things where, like, you kind of have to accept that it happened, kind of move on, and you'd think that someone that experienced that would spend every day of their life being like Stewie, like from Family Guy, like rocking back and forth and like going crazy, be like, I saw a ghost, and it would change your whole life. But I mean, without going crazy, you kind of have to just look back every now and then and be like, oh yeah, remember that time we saw a ghost? And you have a cool story about it.
I mean, it is a cool story. It's a story that, I think that happened about 7-8 years ago.
Yeah.
And it's like one of those stories that I will always remember. It was like, it really, like every once in a while when you start to question or doubt, like, is there life after death?
Yeah.
My mind goes back to that moment, because I know for certain that there's something there. There's something going on. I don't know, like, I've told this story and some people were like, it was an alien. Or I've told people the story where they're like, it's just a person from a different dimension that crossed over, and you guys just happen to cross paths. And then
Still cool.
Right? People that say it's a ghost. I don't know what it was. I can't explain it, but all I know is that something happened that was beyond what we know as reality.
And that's really cool. I think that we're really good. If we're good at anything, we're good at taking the positive out of it. And that really did change my perception about everything really. And it gave me like hope and things like that. So I think it was a really cool experience that happened to us. And like, whether no one believes us or not, Sam was there, so she knows. Right. And you were there. So I know I'm not crazy. Ish. But that's it. That's pretty much our story. And I'm sorry if this was a little messy for the first episode, but that's what we are. We're a little messy. And if you like this video, hopefully you can leave a review and give us a nice little review in there and a little like. And maybe you can watch it on YouTube too if you want it, husband.
Yeah, so thank you guys. Stay tuned for some more episodes. They're not all going to be about haunted stories at the Langham, but there are a lot of haunted stories that we have from the Langham. There's going to be a ton of different kind of paranormal stories that we're going to talk about, and we can't wait to share it with you guys.
Yeah, we have a lot. I mean, we have the Paris catacombs we went to. We have...
Can you believe we went to the Paris catacombs?
I can't. It was creepy. It was so creepy.
Yeah.
It was so creepy. But and then a lot of personal stories, and then a lot of things we want to discuss. Like, we want to talk about, certain movies we've seen that are horror, or different haunting shows we watch. Or like, we want to talk about the energy stones in, what do you call them? The vortexes in Sedona?
Sedona, Bigfoot.
We'll talk about Bigfoot, honey.
We're gonna talk about all kinds of creepy, unexplained, unsolved mysteries, kinds of stuff, and so every episode is gonna be something completely different.
Yeah, so stay tuned every Tuesday for our haunted honeymoon.